Now comes the time to tell the origin story. In 1963, a young man named Henry Adams, Hank, transferred from Yale University to Stanford and brought with him an irrepressibly enthusiastic spirit as well as a love of a cappella singing. And upon arriving here and discovering that there was no equivalent to the groups that he'd come to love in the East Coast, he set about to recruit a group of like-minded individuals. And they learned one song and proceeded to the dorm of Branner Hall, which at the time was an all-female dorm, and presented themselves and proceeded to serenade the residents of Branner Hall. Their reception was incredibly enthusiastic, and thus a tradition was born, which continues to this day.
And so we don't want to take too much more time before we bring the founders out, but the thing we would like to say to them is, it's been 50 years. There are 10 groups at Stanford. There have been around 300 mendicants. We've kind of lost count. There are a lot of us. There are over 130 here, I believe. 26 albums, a lot of stuff. And founders, look what you've done. We hope you're proud of yourselves, because we sure are.
It was 50 years ago that Dick Grant and I got together in Wilbur Hall, Rinconada, and we said, why don't we form an a cappella singing group? Both of us were from prep school a cappella groups. We came out to the West Coast, and we found there was absolutely no a cappella singing, not only in the Stanford campus, but literally on the entire West Coast. So we got together and said, let's do this. And we worked hard to try to start a group. We even had a poster that we had announcing the formation of this group, and we put it on every urinal in Wilbur Hall. And at the end of all of that work, we were able to attract a total of 4 singers. And that's Dick and myself and George Bacardi back there, and one other gentleman, Pete Hayek, who's not with us. And just as we were about ready to give up our hope and our dream, from some magical place came Hank Adams, bringing with him 4 other singers, 2 of which are here tonight. Denny Fales. Denny, would you stand aside there? Denny Fales and Bill Verplank. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the originals. But of all of the originals, without question, the single most important individual in forming the Mendicants and getting it going was Hank Adams. Hank was not only the emotional and spiritual backing to the foundation of the Mendicants, he had tremendous musical talent, but he brought to the organization something that was absolutely crucial, and that was adult supervision. Sadly, Hank passed away in 2001. But we're very blessed to have tonight his wife, the lovely Pat Adams. Pat, would you stand up back there? Every one of the Mendicants who has sung here tonight, every one of them loves and respects what Hank brought to the Mendicants, as we all do. So thank you very much. My partner, co-founder, Dick.
This is obviously a great honor to be allowed to perform after all these other wonderful groups. And we're very proud of that legacy, but it's a two-edged sword. Being put on this stage is a little bit like jumping into the ring with an opponent 4 decades your junior and in fighting trim. It's been nearly 4 decades since some of us have sung, and we've had a wonderful time today putting together a couple of the tunes that we did long ago. Now, there's been some changes in the Mendicants, and I just want to briefly tell you about. There have been changes, as you've seen, in costumes. I mean, we didn't have jerseys, but we did have these. There are only 2 of these left. The rest have dissolved because of time, and it's only because of some historical perspective that we now understand how dorky these ties were. And that's why we didn't wear them tonight. We've also had some changes in venues. Our first concert, as you were told, was in the dining room of Branner Hall, and now we're in the Bang Concert Hall. That may be the biggest change of all. I mean, this is quite incredible to be here. The other thing that's changed is arrangements. You've heard all of these arrangements this evening, sophisticated, wonderful arrangements done by all kinds of mendicants over the years. But we feel that it's very important for historical accuracy to show you where it really started. That one arrangement we learned, some people say we learned 5, but memory fades, I don't know. This is the first arrangement we ever learned, and where we got it was I brought it with me from high school.
Somewhere there's music, how faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. There is no moon above when love is far away too, till it comes true that you love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music, it's where you are. Somewhere there's heaven, how near, how far. The darkest night would shine if you would come to me soon. Until you will thou still my heart.
You've been a wonderful, wonderful audience, putting up with all of this, how hard we have tried to bring our sound and our memories and such to you. We're going to finish with a song called When You Wore a Tulip I arranged it in 1966. The concept was to start with a traditional barbershop song, sing it traditionally, and then morph it into something that was more modern with rhythm and slap bass and so forth. We haven't sung it in 50 years. We had 1 hour to rehearse. I hope you will bear with us, but I hope you'll enjoy it.
When you wore a tulip, a bright yellow tulip, and I wore a big red rose. When you caressed me, 'twas then heaven blessed me, what a